Welcome everyone who's coming in, just finding a comfortable position. Hi Joe. Hi Wendy, welcome to our yin release, beautiful Friday evening session. So I am graced with your presence this evening. So welcome yourself, settle on your mat, find a reclined position. We'll begin on the earth, just allowing this day that feels like winter just to cozy on up, to grab all your blankets, your cushions, to create a beautiful sacred space for yourself. So any candles that you wish to light, any incense, now's the perfect time just to create your safe little haven. And whilst I wait for the rest of us to come through, I'm just going to play a little bit of sound and you can just drop in on your own. Just letting go of your day. Still got a couple of more minutes or so before we officially begin. Those of us just joining, we are coming into a reclined position today. You can place a bolster underneath your knees. You might want something underneath you for some warmth and some support. You might also wish to have a blanket over the top of you. So just find a reclined position on your back that's going to offer you a little bit of comfort just to begin our practice this evening. Just allowing your breath to settle. And once the breath settles, the mind begins to also follow. Just breathing in, breathing out. Maybe taking some sighs out through the mouth a few times. Just eliminating any distractions, whether that be things that you physically got in your space that you want to remove, whether it just be a mental decluttering. And then as you lay on the earth, just feel the back of the head supported. You might want a very low cushion or even just a rolled up blanket behind the head, just so the neck is still long, so the chin isn't jutting to the chest rather. Just to keep it still elevated. Sometimes we bring the head up way too much and challenges the breath to flow freely through the throat. So just ensuring that the spine is nice and supported. And then just notice the position of your arms, whether they want to extend out, whether you feel more supported to have them on a body part. And then just notice also the position of your legs. You might have your knees propped up over a bolster. Your heels, if they don't reach the earth, I find, I'm quite short in the legs, I find that my feet hang. So if you're finding that you are using a bolster and the feet are hanging off the mat, just bring the floor closer to you by placing a couple of blocks for the heels to rest on. So you want to make the position as supportive as you can. And you might even want to try that even if you notice the heels reaching the earth. It just might create a very different feel. And if you are in the position with the bolster under the knees, notice how the knees naturally fall out. So just go with your natural anatomy. So there is no one right shape or one right way to look. We're all going to look very different based on our own skeletal structure. Just as your attention drifts inwards, send your mind's eye just deep into your inner landscape. To begin with, just physically, just having a look with your mind's eye, just mentally at your physical body laying here on the earth. Just take a moment to scan your physical body. You might begin from the crown of the head, just noticing the back of the head and the area of the head, the skull. Notice if there's any tension there or any sensations that you might feel. Perhaps you soften the space between your brow, softening the muscles in the face, the temples, cheeks, jaw. Just keeping your awareness there at your face. Your ears, the back of the head. And just that whole upper area of the body. And then as you breathe in and out, notice the breath at your nostrils. Soft, gentle breaths in. And perhaps a longer exhalation out to really notice how the nervous system comes down when we exhale the breath. Just continue observing your breath, moving in and out through the nostrils. Just bring your awareness now down to your throat, your neck, scanning the muscles, the bones. Bring the awareness to the throat, the clavicle, the shoulders, shoulder blades. Noticing the bones that make up your skeletal structure. And noticing the surrounding muscles around those bones. The joints, the tendons also in the body. The fascia and the connective tissue which cover the muscles. Just notice what you sense in that upper chest, shoulder area of the body. And then stream your awareness down to your fingertips. So just begin to really notice the arms either outstretched or they might be on your body. And again, paying attention to bones, to muscles. Just breathing in, breathing out. Soft, gentle, smooth breaths. In and out. Notice any sensations in your fingertips, the palms even. Feel perhaps energy in your hands, whether it be that you feel the warmth coming from your body or whether you feel the pulse from your palms. And then just sense that energy in your hands. Feel this warmth, subtle sensations. And then just allow the awareness to move back up through your arms, feeling that energy, lighting you up, all the way back to the center of the chest now. And then just as you naturally breathe in and out through both nostrils, just notice how the chest begins to open and expand. And then just as you exhale the breath and you extend the exhalation, how everything softens and the chest contracts. And then just continue breathing in and breathing out. Soft, gentle breaths in, expanding and contracting. Just notice the heart muscle a little to the left there. And begin to notice the ribs, your bones as you breathe in. You'll notice how it's a slight expansion of the rib cage outwards to honor the breath. And as you exhale, just imagine that rib cage closing in on your vital organs. So as you breathe, have that mental vision of these ribs that encase and keep you, your internal world protected, particularly those vital organs, which is part of the job of the rib cage. Just continue following that breath, just keeping the awareness there in the belly, or rather, sorry, the chest. Rib cage expands, notice the spaces between the rib cage. Rib cage contracts, softness. And as you breathe and notice your rib cage, just notice the spine also. Noticing the gentle curve through your spine. Or it might be relatively flat if you've got the knees elevated. You'll notice your lower back perhaps supported on the earth or the blanket. If there is no support, you'll notice that you naturally have a curve in your lower lumbar area of your spine. Just trace that spine. Notice the skeletal structure and what that might look like if you were to be able to see it, your own skeletal structure. Notice all the intervertebral discs in between your bones. And all soft cushioning that the spine stacks upon in order for that movement forward, back, side, side. And still breathing, still aware of your body here on the earth. Bring your awareness to your abdomen, the upper, the lower, just that whole belly region. Noticing when you breathe that there is a lift and expansion. Really fill the belly with breath, with air. You might pause for a moment just to stay full in the belly. And just exhale the breath completely, perhaps exaggerating that exhalation just a little bit more than you have been. So just really filling into the abdomen. Sometimes we don't breathe full belly breaths, particularly women. We tend to want to contract and hide the abdomen. Just kind of really let it all be free, let it all hang out today. Just feel the spaces in between the ribs now as you breathe. So really expanding that whole abdominal area, chest cavity area. And then as you exhale, just notice how everything softens, releases, and closes back down. Let's take a few, we'll say 3 more conscious breaths here, observing the belly, the chest, the expansion. That soft, gentle exhalation. Complete your 3 rounds on your own now. And then continue breathing. Just bring your awareness to the pelvic bowl. So the bony structure that connects the lower body to the upper body. Just mentally envisioning that big bony structure that makes up your pelvis. And everybody's pelvis is very different. Very different skeletal structure there. And due to that, there tends to be a lot of differences in how we move, particularly where the ball and socket joint of the thigh sits into the pelvic bowl. And for some of us, we have more protruding pelvises, which give us a little bit more space for the joint to move. Some of us have quite shallow little sockets there because of the bone structure. And you'll notice it based on how your body moves, on how perhaps the flexibility is there in the groin area, whether you naturally have an external rotation or an internal rotation of the thighs. But for now, just observe that big bony structure. And then from there, just allow the awareness to travel down the femur bones, which is the thigh bones, to the kneecap. And then envision the muscles, quite a few big muscle groups in the thighs. There's one big bone, but lots of muscles. The quadriceps contain 4 big muscles, so quadra, the 4. And then there's all other muscles that allow for the movement of the bone, the body, to either externally rotate, internally rotate. There's a muscle that helps to cross the legs as we bend the knee. And they all start from that pelvic region, connected to the pelvis all the way down those thighs. Just feel the whole upper part of your leg, both legs, to your kneecaps. And then just notice your kneecaps, the patella. Some of us have injuries, knee injuries, not uncommon. They do bear a lot of weight. And there's that movement there in the knee. Sometimes we get a compression of the meniscus. So just be aware of how your knees feel, whether you do have existing injuries. And just to take this moment here to send the knees love for all that they do for you. And then send that loving awareness down from the knees, down the lower part of the leg, the bones being the tibia and fibula, the surrounding muscles, gastrocnemius, soleus muscle, one of the big calf muscles, those 2 at the back, and the anterior tibialis, the muscle at the front. And then just notice your heels, your ankles, and lastly your feet. Lots of little bones in those feet, toes. The tarsals, the metatarsals, phalanges. There's these little bones in the feet. And the little muscles in the feet. And then just take this opportunity to really thank your feet for bearing your weight, for carrying you. Perhaps we jam our shoes into our feet rather into ill-fitting shoes. So for now, barefoot, just feel the release of your feet. And now bring awareness to your whole physical body. As if you're looking down on your physical body. And just have a look at this home that you've been gifted to live in. And what is your relationship with this body? And what has your relationship been in the past with this body? And do we identify ourselves as this body? Or do we recognize it as a mere vehicle for life and experience? And as you move deeper into the layers of that physical body, that physical self, from 5 subtle layers, Annamaya Kosha, we move down into the next layer. Just noticing the breath body. Continue feeling your breath moving in and up. And then we're going to start to move a little with the breath now. So I'm assuming we're all on the earth, hopefully just on the spine supported. If you did start with something behind the spine, just remove that, just so you can have your spine flat and your arms are going to eventually come out in line with your shoulders. And so you're going to inhale the breath with your arms outstretched on the floor. And as you inhale, you'll notice how everything opens, your chest opens. And then as you exhale, you're going to reach the arms above you. So they're going to come towards the chest or above the chest. And you're just going to exhale the breath and round. So I'll just demonstrate on the earth if you're not sure. We're inhaling. And then as you exhale, the arms reach. And then as you inhale, you expand your wings. The backs of the hands will touch the earth. The chest lifts. Wait for the exhalation. The arms begin to reach above you. So just continue that movement pattern, inhaling to expand. Keep breathing in and perhaps pause when you get to the bottom. Then as you exhale the breath, the arms come up. Just feel this beautiful sense of energy flowing through you. This beautiful, soft, gentle movement of the arms. Keeping the eyes closed and just feeling that sense between the hands, the energy. Maybe your fingers spread wide. Maybe it feels like you're holding energy between your palms. Maybe you're envisioning some crystal spheres in each hand. And there's a weight that kind of drops the arms down as you breathe in. Maybe a little strength to lift those crystal spheres in each hand upward. And then just take 5 more of these gentle movements. Just feel subtle as you breathe in. Just really connecting the energy today. Just really letting go of this week. We've had a new moon, or rather that was last week. We've actually come into our equinox, which was on Tuesday, where the day and the night are equal, where there is a perfect harmony and balance. And when you complete your 5 rounds of breath, just allow your arms to spread wide. And just continue breathing in and out. You're going to start to wriggle the toes a little now. You can start to now add the fingers in, point, flex, rotate, just move fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. So just really pay attention to now the movement and how the bones and the muscles begin to move. So we're going to start to add a little bit of movement here now. So if you do have a bolster under the knees, you can leave it there for now, and you can step your feet on the bolster, otherwise step the feet to the earth. And then from here, just extend your right leg up to the ceiling. Bring the the hands rather behind the back of the thigh. And then just continue moving the toes, point, flex, rotate. And as you move, notice the sensations moving down your legs. You might feel the gastrocnemius and soleus muscle as you flex off. And as you point, you might notice that anterior tibialis muscle in the front. Just pay attention to the muscles as you point and flex and what you feel. And then just from here, let the leg pause for a moment, just reaching the arms up a little higher towards your ankle. Just a very gentle weight of the arms to draw the leg a little closer, not by force, but just to feel now the hamstrings, the muscles between the kneecap and the glute. Just noticing those muscles in the back of your thigh. Notice if you've started to jut your chin to the ceiling, draw the chin into the chest. And then go ahead now and just cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Now, it might be really nice to keep the bolster where it is. So this is a really beautiful end of day option if you just want to hold this position right here. There is the option to, if you prefer, to reach around, and if it feels comfortable to sustain this for a lengthened period of time, you can come into that traditional eye of the needle. Some of you might wish to elevate the hips in this particular one today. So you can lift up the pelvis. It tilts the pelvis forward, still crossing that right thigh. But you'll notice that that left thigh starts to come closer to the chest. So you can keep the arms out wide, and then gravity starts to work for you here. So you choose what you feel. You might even notice that top leg wishing to extend as well. So just go ahead and find one of those positions. And if you are near a wall, I'll give you one more. Just if you feel like moving, that is. That will be the left foot on the wall, whether it be high or low, with that right ankle crossed over the top. And so with the weight of the wall, there's a slight resistance there that helps to get quite deep into the muscle in the right glute hip area, which is the target area that we're experiencing here. So just settle in one of those shapes. Just breathe in and out. If there's any sensation that feels quite deep, maybe back it off a little, just so you're at about a 60% range of motion rather than that full 100% having to not be able to hold for a lengthened period of time. And just allow for the breath just to flow freely through your body. Continue being aware of your physical body, which you're no doubt sensing the sensations inside. And you'll perhaps feel the muscles releasing, There might be a point where there is a slight contraction or resistance and maybe you catch a thought. Just notice the thought and the sensation. Sometimes they marry in together and there's something to teach us. Perhaps we then become aware of how we store emotions in our body. Notice the rotation as well of that ball and socket joint in your hip and how that feels. And whether or not there is a bone-to-bone compression, whether there is more movement if you perhaps shift the weight over a little to one side or the other. So not having to be fixated, to be centered. So notice if the body wishes to gently move to one side. Keep witnessing your breath, particularly as the sensation starts to intensify a little, which it will. Pay attention to surrounding muscles that might begin to tense when that occurs. Keep your jaw soft, your tongue soft, and keep an inner smile. Feeling the warmth inside of you radiating with this energy inside of you as you feel that internal smile. Perhaps instantly the whole body softens. Maybe the thoughts soften. Maybe the corners of the mouth begin to turn upwards. Just keep breathing in and out. Just notice if there's just a little bit more to explore now. We won't be here for very much longer. So if you know you've got just a little bit more there, or you wish to explore that, now is the perfect opportunity for you just to see what happens. Be curious with your body. And then when you get to that place of feeling something not too intense, but just feeling, just allow for 5 more breaths. So just complete those 5 rounds. And just very gently just release out of the position that you're in. If you've still got the bolster where it is and it was there from prior, you can just extend the legs over it. Otherwise, just come to rebound if there's nothing on the earth, just completely still. Just so we're not fussing and fidgeting too much, just so we can just be still and just observe the sensations that we're experiencing, or the energy rather than the energy flowing through the body. So that energy is known as chi. That's what you're experiencing. It's also known as prana. And they're exactly the same thing, just from different lineages. So you've got the meridians and chi, based on the Chinese medicine and Chinese philosophy. And then you've got the nadis and the prana, which is based on the yogic philosophy, that Indian philosophy. And then just slowly bring the knees into the chest. Bolster might be exactly where it is before. You might want to step the feet on the bolster or just lift them. Just give the knees a little squeeze, rock a little side to side, and roll the back of the head on the earth. Chin moving from one shoulder to the other. Just getting a little into the neck. Take as many rocks as you feel, and then just rock yourself to center. And then we'll step the right foot down and extend the left leg up towards the ceiling. So just grab a hold of the back of the thigh and just start by moving that ankle joint, moving, rotating, pointing, flexing, but really slow and conscious. So you're just noticing the back of the thigh, the shin, noticing calf muscles as you point and flex. Just paying attention to how everything connects, rather than just moving this foot just for the sake of moving because you've heard the instruction. So be curious about your body, your instrument, your vehicle that you have chosen to incarnate in. And you can relax the foot. We're just going to reach the arms a little higher, hands a little higher, maybe towards the ankle, not straining. Just let the weight of the arms pull the leg just a fraction closer to you to get into the back of your leg, into those hamstrings. And if there's a point where you notice you're straining, just back it off a little, reassess the breath. Just feel how the breath allows the movement to deepen. When we're in a calm breath state, the body will follow and respond. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Really feeling the back of your left thigh. Maybe there's a different sensation or an area that you're experiencing. Remember, no one right way to feel. They're all right for each of us. And then we will be crossing the ankle over the thigh and choosing the variation you did on the first side. So it might be the bolster under the foot. And you might just hang there. You might choose to hold on to the shin or the calf. That might require a little bit of a reach. So if you're finding that it's becoming a little challenging, perhaps opt for a slightly different variation. You've got the wall as well. And then you've got the bolster under the hips with the ankle crossed over the thigh. So that just tilts the pelvis forward. You can rest the arms beside you, over the crown. Just find your variation. And then noticing how the body, you might even want to rock a little side to side, just to notice the body and how the sensations shift a little when you move from one side to the other. And you might notice that leg extending, right leg, if you do have the tilt of the pelvis, it might feel nice to do that. So know that you can explore the movement. You're not set in stone. So there might be something I haven't even suggested that suits you best. And this is the time where I miss being in a space with all of you, just seeing how each of us varies in movement, and to be able to see that and to remember that and to acknowledge that. Just be in your shape. Don't worry about what I look like. Be in that state of inward attention. Notice what you feel. Notice what you sense. Notice any thoughts. You don't want to push the thoughts away. We just want them to dissolve on their own. So the more we try not to think about something, the more we think about it. And the more we just allow the thoughts to come and go, just softly, without too much attention or grasping, the likelier they are just to stop persisting. Just feel the effortless breath in through both nostrils, through Ida and Pingala Nadi. And then exhaling through both nostrils. So the left nostril, Ida Nadi. It's the it's the lunar, the feminine, the yin. That's the left. And the right is the solar, the sun, the masculine. Pay attention to which nostril is most dominant. Is it left? Is it right? Perhaps you notice, perhaps you don't. Just observe. Maybe in about an hour and a half or so, check in again with your breath and see if the nostril dominancy has changed. Notice if you're breathing more through the opposite or not. Or notice that throughout your days. Stay soft with the breath. Calm in the mind. And just notice if there's any holding on, any attachment. Notice if there's any more depth to explore here now. If there is something holding you back from feeling, from rubbing up against that barrier, that edge. Sometimes we avoid coming close to the edge, fear of what might happen. We might actually step off the edge and fly. Take 5 more breaths. Really slow and gentle. Feel the elegancy of that breath, like a dance, the inhalation and exhalation, and just dancing in beautiful harmony. And then we're going to come down to rebound when you complete 5 breaths. And this time, if you do have something underneath you, just see if you can find a really careful way to remove everything from your mat. And just come to lay completely flat on your back. Arms can be extended out wide or up, legs can be extended. Just notice this neutral position. And what flows through your body, the subtle sensations that make up the 5 bodies or koshas, the layers that surround our true self, our true essence, our heart self, or our bliss self or bliss body, as it's translated. And then when you're ready to move, just start to stretch, yawn the body. Reach fingers, reach toes, move the head, move the wrists, the ankles. Just kind of wriggle around the earth. Get really primal now. Move the hips, notice how they feel. You might bend the knees. Start to drop them a little side to side. We're going to roll ourselves over onto our abdomen here. So you can just flip yourself on over onto the belly. And we're going to come straight into Sphinx pose from here. So if you just want to take it really gently, you can stay in the crocodile position, which is the forehead on the hands. You might wish to bring something a little bit higher, maybe a couple of blocks side by side. You might bring a bolster underneath your armpits. So this is just the position where you can rest in a crocodile position, which is still a gentle back bend, not as strong. The other option is the bolster, if you do have one, underneath kind of that chest armpit area, and you can drape yourself there. Some of you might wish to come onto the forearms without any bolsters or props, and you can just be on the forearms. If you feel to support the forehead on something, just rest your forehead on a block perhaps. It might support the neck, or for some of you it might feel really nice to get that stretch behind the back of the neck. So again, just opting for your variation. And separating the feet to a comfortable distance, just so they're not glued together. It requires so much effort to keep the legs together. You'll notice if you bring the legs together, it requires the inner thighs to contract, the glutes to contract. The wider they are, the more space we allow for our lumbar spine. And then just settling with your toes relaxed, tops of the feet on the earth. And again, just scanning the body from your feet. Soles of the feet, tops of the feet, the heels, the ankles. Just noticing that flow of energy moving up through your lower legs, the knees, kneecaps, backs of the knees, two sides of the knees. And tracing the line front, back of the thighs, and on either side of the thigh. So from the knee, tracing that outside line to the outside of the hip, from the inside of the knee to the inside of the inner thigh, the groin, the liver meridian. And tracing that line from the back of the knee, all the way to the pelvis. Crossing over the buttock. And then just feel the pelvis, the pubic bone, the weight of the pelvis. Just scan the muscles in that lower pelvic region just to ensure that the buttocks isn't clenched, everything is soft. And you'll notice that you're creating more of an arch in the lower back. So it is a very gentle back bend unless you're opting for a deeper variation. If you're happy where you are, stay. If you wish to come deeper, now's the time just to maybe just bring the forearms onto the bolster if you're draped over it, or if you're on the forearms on the earth, you might slide the hands a little bit further forward and just lift your elbows, so it's not as intense as keeping them where they were, unless you want to go nice and deep. So seal pose is the variation. I like to suggest in seal pose the hands, fingers rather slightly turning outwards, and then walking the hands back in from there rather than having them forward. Might feel nice to have that external rotation in your shoulders. And just scan now the spine. Scan also the front fascial line of the body from the pubic bone all the way up through that front sheath, front of the abdominals, the abdominal wall. Maybe feeling that beautiful stretch that you're receiving in the front body, not just the back body getting a nice back bend, but also seeing it from the front. And then noticing your arms, your hands, whether or not you're using the hands to support you up in seal pose, whether or not you're still draped over something. Know that every position is perfect as long as you are choosing it with authenticity. And lastly, follow the awareness through the shoulders, neck, all the way to the crown, whether it be that the head's lifted or tilted down. Just imagine the energy flowing out through your crown. Just feeling this energy, this circuit of energy coming back down from the crown, back down into your body. So there's always this exchange of energy. It's a give and take. So we don't have to worry that we don't have enough. Take 5 more breaths. Real slow, real gentle, loving, and easeful. Maybe extending the breath out a little longer than the inhalation. Taking your time just to journey onto your belly without anything underneath you. So if you've got a bolster under the arms or blocks, just remove them. Your choice is either to turn the head to one side with the arms forward or beside your body. Or if you wish to support the cheek on a hand. Or maybe you come back to that crocodile position where the forehead is on the hands. Then find a position of rebound where we can just really settle. Just feel the residual sensation flowing through the spine. So quite a lot of energy flows through the spine. And we have our energetic chakras, centers, spinning wheels. And they run across the back body. So start to feel the energy through Sushumna Nadi, that's that main channel. Just breathing up and down the spine as you notice the sensations, the heat, the fire that are going on there, the neurons, cells, the blood as it flows through, the muscles that were maybe a little constricted or restricted. And if the head's turned to one side, go ahead and turn it the other way. And just settle there for 3 more breaths. And then when you are ready, child's pose is where we're just going to head to, just to release that lower back. So use the hands under shoulders, any distance with your knees apart. If you prefer your bolster in front, in between the thighs, just go ahead and grab that now. Or it might give you more of a release through the lower back. There's nothing underneath you, but of course it's your choice. We're just going to stay here in this child's pose for just a moment or two. Just to breathe continuously up and down through that central channel, which you might feel a deeper sensation in that lower back area. So that area is our second chakra position, which is Svadhisthana, which is all about creativity. For women, it governs our reproductive system as well. So all that energy of creating in that womb space. Just notice if that area feels open or closed. Sometimes our energy is blocked and stuck. Sometimes we feel in life we're not able to move forward. We can't seem to take off that creative idea that we have, or it seems a little challenging. It could just be an indication of just energy not flowing freely in the body. We are going to press ourselves up. So we are going to just walk the hands in towards the knees, just so we can come up into just a kneeling position. And if this isn't the most comfortable position for you, place something between your buttocks and your heels. A cushion or a block, or if you prefer, just straddle a bolster. We're just going to sit upright. Just going to pause here. And as you do, just move your shoulders. So as you inhale, forward up with the shoulders. As you exhale, roll them back and down. Just feel this big movement through your shoulder girdle. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Just continue forward up as you breathe in, real big circles. See if you can lift those shoulders really high to the ears and then melt them down. Let's take 3 more big circles. And just let them soften for a moment. And then with your eyes closed, extend your arms out in line with your shoulders, palms facing down. Take a breath in. As you exhale the breath, just open the palms up to the ceiling. Notice the rotation through your shoulders. And as you inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Maybe press your palms or not, whatever feels comfortable. Then as you exhale, send the energy out and down, releasing the hands just beside your hips. And then you use again your in-breath, arms in line with shoulders. As you exhale, turn your palms up, use that full exhalation. As you inhale, reach the arms high. As you exhale, release them to the earth. This time we're going to rise onto the knees. Inhale, arms in line with shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, turn your palms up. Inhale, reach your arms high. Then as you exhale, sit your hips down to your heels. Release your hands beside you. This is too strong. You can come up, or you can just bring the knees up on a bolster or a cushion. And we're just going to keep moving the arms. So we're just getting into the toes, breathing in, arms reach out in line with shoulders. Exhale, spin the palms open. So the toes are getting a nice stretch. We're just breathing, bringing some pranayama into our practice. Inhale, arms reach to the ceiling. As you exhale, what are you sending away? What are you clearing? I'm just going to continue in this fashion. So inhale, palms down, arms in line with shoulders. Use the full exhalation to spin and externally rotate through the arms. So thumbs face out. Use the in-breath to gather what you need, reaching that energy up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, feel the energy moving all around you like an energetic auric field. 5 more of these on your own. Of course, if you need to come off those feet at any point, just keep the arm movement going. You can come back to sit on the tops of the feet. Otherwise, just breathe through what you're feeling. Stay steady and focused. So completing 5. If you've lost count, no problem. Just intuit the number. Go with what feels right for your body. And when you do complete, just rise onto the knees. Bring the hands under your shoulders. You just lift your feet off the mat. So you're in a tabletop position. Just let the feet flow. You'll instantly, as you do that, feel the energy flowing through your toes. There are quite a few meridians that start and end in the toes. Just feeling the sensations there. And then if you wish, you can tap the feet on the floor. Might feel really nice to do that. And then we're just going to find a seated position. So we will be completing our practice in a seated meditation. If you prefer, however, come down to the earth and lay down, that's fine. We have been on the earth for quite some time, so your choice whether you wish to remain there or whether you wish just to find a seated position. And it might be the shins crossed, it might be shins crossed or ankles crossed. Some of us have the flexibility to bring the heel into the perineum. You might raise the hips up quite significantly. But just notice the long, erect spine and the energy that flows through that central channel. And then the hands are going to rest somewhere comfortably on the knees, perhaps with your palms down or your palms up. So just noticing what feels best for you. Palms down tends to be more grounding, palms up a little bit more receptive, and there's no one right answer. Just tune in and feel. And sometimes the thumb and the index fingers wish to come together. or maybe the thumb and one of the other fingers as we create a different mudra. It's just an energetic circuit between the hands, fingers. A lot of nerve endings in our fingers that are connected to the brain. So just breathing in and breathing out. Just feel the space between your eyebrows nice and soft. And if you need support and you do want to stay seated, you can definitely lean up against a wall. Just follow your breath in and out. And I invite you to start counting the breaths. And it's a 4, 6, 8 count breath. So the inhalation is in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that going, and if you're finding that you're struggling to hold the breath or to exhale for that number, just do the best that you can. Just finding something that might resemble that 4, 6, 8 count breath. So keep that going now on your own, inhaling for 4, pausing at the top, exhaling, and continuing on again. Just complete that final round that you are on, exhaling the breath for the count of 8. And then just sitting in complete stillness. Just witnessing your natural flow of breath now. Slow heartbeat, heart rate. The body in its complete rest and digest state, its parasympathetic system. Just feeling the chest, the belly rise, contract just effortlessly. It's the only movement occurring in your body. It's involuntary. Body's inner intelligence. Turning the gaze inside out with your eyes closed to the center of your eyebrows, into the brain, into the two hemispheres of the brain. Into the back of the brain, the reptilian brain. Just feel your whole skull lighting up. Feel this radiance, this awareness. Feel the sense of isness, I amness. The connection to the greater part of existence beyond the small little I or me. And be in that extended place, truth. All the answers to your questions lie in the stillness, the spaces, the gap, the void. And where all possibilities reside. Where every choice is made. Where everything flows. In harmony. Let's take 5 more conscious breaths. Begin to just notice now your physical body. You might have drifted somewhere beautiful where you're able just to bring that back. Know that you can tap into that place at any time through meditation, through silent contemplation, through self-inquiry. And then just when you're ready, bring your hands gently together at the center of your chest, just to really acknowledge your inner being, your core self. Coming back to that kosha, that deepest layer of who we are, which is Ananda Maya Kosha. So greet each day with your eyes open to beauty, your mind open to change, and your heart open to love. Just bow your head gently to Mother Earth, to yourself, to our teachers past and present and emerging. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful Friday, a beautiful weekend. Namaste. Blessings. Have safe journey. Stay warm. My goodness, how cold has it become? So that was just a little card I pulled out. If you want to come out slowly and on your own, just start to move a little. So greet each day with your eyes open to beauty, your mind open to change, and your heart open to love.